Hello everybody and welcome to another video about Google AI Bard. And today we're going to give Google AI Bard another shot at chess. And now I'm a bit sane than yesterday because literally, I don't know, I was stressed out by the internet and Wi-Fi. We still had this superstorm right here like I mentioned yesterday with my video on the previous video before this. So let us start with e4. He started with e4, which is a principal move and not like some crazy move like h4 or whatever. So we got e4, d5. We got the Scandinavian defense. We know all of the e4 lines result into an aggressive position. I had to make the d5 pawn go to d5 because to make him take my pawn on d5 so that the lines are not aggressive anymore. Now we got knight to f6, the modern variation, because there is some tricky line here where I can trick Google AI into something, and also it just develops a knight. He did an accuracy here, but it's actually a trade, because if I take the free pawn right here, he takes my knight, I take his knight, we're all equal in material. But when this trade happens, my queen is kind of in the center. When my queen is in the center, the pawn on c2 can go pawn to c4 and attack my queen. And I have to go somewhere with my queen, or else it will be taken by the pawn. So I have to go back. That is not what happened. The knight can take the knight, but he didn't take the knight. Instead goes for bishop to c4, which develops a bishop and controls more squares. And we got pawn to e6, defending the knight on d5 from the bishop on c4. Now, if he takes, I got one pawn in the center. He has one knight developed, and today it's actually balanced. But that didn't happen. So we got pawn to d4, taking the center with a d4 pawn, and we got knight to c6, which is an accuracy by the computer. The correct answer is knight to c3. I didn't play knight to c3. It's because of the fact that I didn't see it and I didn't know. And maybe just the fact of because I thought that this knight is too powerful to be traded with a weak knight. So I stayed the knight there for long as I can. We got knight to c6, developing another knight now. We got knight to c6 because of the fact it takes more squares in the center. We got knight to f3, which also doing the same, taking squares in the center, and also developing another knight, which is going to become active soon and maybe decides the game. But maybe it doesn't. We got bishop to b4, pins the knight, so wherever the knight moves, the king will be taken. Wherever the knight moves, the king will be taken. The king castled. King castled. And now I did the king castled. Now I can take the knight on c3 with the knight or with the bishop. Taking with the bishop is a mistake because of the fact that he can take my bishop, and bishops are better than knights, so I'm not gonna take with the bishop. Instead, I play knight to c3, which takes the knight, and now his pawn structure is doubled, but I need to go away from the attack of the pawn. Actually, I don't need to go away. It's actually a blunder. Why did I say I'm gonna go away? I don't know. I can just take. So I did take the pawn on c3. And now, where Google AI Bard starts malfunctioning and blundering, we got bishop b2. Straight up blunder. It's, it's a clear blunder. It has no defense, and also, it's a clean full bishop. It's a clean full bishop. It's not a trade. So it's a clean full bishop. What did I do? I took the principal way and took the bishop on b2. I'm now attacking the rook on h1, and but even though Google AI doesn't see or sees that, I don't really know if Google AI Bard sees that, but he didn't because of the fact he moved the rook to e1. What? What is rook to e1? You blundered the full bishop. Now you're gonna blunder a rook for a bishop. What? We got rook to a1 and we're back to the normal moves. Back to the normal moves, but we're going to bounce back Google AI Bard malfunctioning again. In a few couple of moves next, we got castles for my king to connect up my queen and rook, and also to make my king safe. And I did castles on the short side because it's the only way to castle the fast way. We got queen to b2, which literally makes the queen active more, which is really great for Google AI Bard. It's a normal move, and I do not disagree with it. And now we got rook to e8, maybe pushing the pawn soon to make my bishop active soon. That is my thoughts on that rook to a8 move. We got bishop to d3, which attacks my pawn on h7, but at the same time it becomes more active than this square, which literally in this square, which if the bishop was on c4, the bishop is kind of weak, but when it is here it's strong because it sees more squares than this position right here. So bishop to d3 is a move also I do not dislike. We got rook to e7 to go rook to d7 so that I can attack the pawn on d4 and to pressure it more. Knight to e5, like it does something. Last time he made the knight move to this square, I think, or this square, and looked like he had to do something with it, and yet he blundered the knight. And I took, he takes, I go queen to d5, making my knight, making my queen active everywhere, and also attacking the pawn on e5. He doesn't have to defend because he has two defense. I move queen to d5 so that I can make my queen active, and also attacking the pawn on e5. And maybe also pressuring the pawn on e2, which might blunder. And we got queen to c3. He might blunder the pawn on a2. And he did blunder the pawn on a2. So what did I do? I just take the pawn. I took the pawn. I took the pawn. And here's what happened. What happened is the next move, in the next couple of moves, we have an illegal move. He is going to get weird. He is going to get weird. Google AI Bard is going to get weird and make moves that are illegal. And here's the move that is illegally what he made. What Google AI Bard made. Or maybe she made. I don't know. So we got knight to c6. That makes the knight go and appear on c6 and then blunders a full knight. He put the knight on c6. Sure, that's an illegal move, sure. But why did he put it on c6? Where it can be taken by a pawn. And no joke, it's white's move. He said at the starting position it's knight c6 with the white pieces and not with the black. As you can see, this is like a normal developing move for a black knight on b8, but he literally said it on the white, so on the white side. So literally, so what do I usually do? I literally just take the knight because being principled is being okay. So I took the knight, and we got queen takes c6. And then the next thing I thought, because of the fact that the queen is attacking my rook on a8, I got rook to b8, trying maybe to checkmate him, and also going to use this file soon, and maybe also trying to go bishop to d7, but I can't yet because he will just take my pawn. And here is the most annoying move, and the most funny move, maybe to you. We got this queen being captured by this rook. This queen being captured by this rook. What? And it resulted to this. And the next move I did was bishop to d7. He goes from one point to another, from God knows what. How did he got there? He literally got there in one move, and that is even an illegal move. We got d7, and right over here, in this exact time frame, Google AI Bard translated this as a draw. I had to accept the draw because of the fact my queen has been taken. And for ridiculously somehow, God knows what, how this rook got here and took my queen. Like, what? Okay, let's analyze the game quickly now. Quickly. We got a very, very normal opening, which is the e4 king's pawn opening. We got the Scandinavian, and we got f6 developing my knight and attacking the pawn on d5. We got knight to c3, and then defending the pawn on d5. We got knight takes d5, and then bishop to c4, not taking my knight on d5, which is really weird because a lot of people takes the knight on d5. And we got pawn to e6, pawn to d4, knight to c6, trying to develop here and pressure the d4 pawn, and also controlling more squares at the center. We got knight to f3, bishop to b4, pinning the knight to the king. So whenever the knight moves, the king will be taken by the bishop. We got castles, avoiding that, and we got knight to c3, and he takes, I take. Now I have an extra pawn on the board, and then we got it attacking the rook on a1. And here is the most funny blunder. Actually, the most funny blunder, because this is the only blunder he made And not a trade. We got bishop takes b2, which I took it because it's a blunder. Why would you not take a blunder? Huh? That you see. Okay. Anyways, we got rook to e1, attacking my pawn on e6, completely disregarding that the fact that the bishop on b2 can just take the rook on a1. So we got this to this trade where the queen on a1 is active and is defending the pawn still on d4, which surprisingly is a really good move. We got rook castles, and now from this point we got from from this point we got a full pawn and then a full bishop, which resulted into plus 4 points, and then which resulted into this trade, which is plus 6 points now. So where will this end? Where will this end? We got rook castles here, and then queen to b2, and then rook to e7, defending the pawn on e6, and also maybe opening up the file from pawn to e5 to pawn takes e5. We got bishop to d3, rook to e7, knight to e5, which is a surprisingly useful move, but I just took it, and now I go queen to d5, making my queen very powerful over there on the d5 square, and he is also making his queen very powerful on the c3 square, and I took the pawn, and once I took that pawn, he literally started cheating right here. He literally spawned a knight on c6, which is ridiculously funny, and I God knows what where that knight came from. It just came from dust, and then the dust transformed into a knight. What? Wait. And then we got to this position where I took the knight. Then he takes the pawn, attacking my rook, and then rook to b8 was played, trying to take this file on the b file. And we got to this point where he literally takes my queen with the rook. And now you see the stupidityness of Google AI Bard. I hope you enjoyed the video. This is the last and the first game I'm gonna show to you. And maybe if Google AI Bard wants to improve more, then I will play Google AI Bard again in chess. If not, then well wait, we'll see. We'll see what happened. And maybe later maybe tomorrow I'm gonna pair Bing and AI Bard again. Sorry for the fact that I literally said yesterday that I was going to pair Google AI Bard and Bing yesterday and literally said tomorrow, which is today. Yeah, sorry for that. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Let's see if Bing plays chess though. Tomorrow. Anyways, see you guys in the next video. And subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. Peace.